Alright, so this is a picture of Baba Ramdev, and this is the book I usually talk about. A Practical Approach to the Science of Ayurveda, a Comprehensive Guide for Healthy Living by Acharya Balkrishna. But I learned about Ayurveda first through Rajiv Dixit, who was he was a great intellectual associated with Baba Ramdev, and he was a social activist. But he really, he basically says that most of the practices of modern medicine and the understanding is actually geared towards people of a kapha dosha, which is a phlegm humor. Which is his theory is that most people from Europe, since they're from colder climates, tend to be more of a phlegm constitution. Whereas then there's the other, he says the Indians tend to have more of the gas, and some have the bile humor, but mostly they have the gas humor. So for them, a different lifestyle is good. And among those things, he talked about how to drink water, how to eat, and when to eat. But he also talked about one of the major causes of illness is because of the practices which are not conducive to the gas humor. And these are practices such as eating stale foods all the time, foods that have just been kept in the fridge, not freshly prepared, or even processed foods. And then the other thing he talks about is like food combinations. So he says certain food combinations create toxins just from eating them together at the same time. So some of them are like eating milk with lemon juice, or even like a sour banana, unripe banana. Another thing he talked about was the suppression of certain urges. So suppression of certain natural urges actually, because they're controlled by the gas humor, tend to cause dysregulation of the gas humor. And since most of the diseases are caused by the dysregulation of gas humor, it's very important to be careful about keeping your gas humor in balance. And it tends to get unbalanced in the season of autumn and early winter, and it also tends to get imbalanced during the changes of the seasons. So every 2 months, basically, there's a 2-week period where the seasons change, and during that period is also very important to pay attention to keeping your gas humor in balance. So suppression of natural urges is really bad for the gas humor, and they talk about it here in this paragraph. So hopefully you can read, because it doesn't look good right now. I don't know why. It should be working. So he says, he introduces the topic by talking about how if you avoid eating when you're hungry, you have a sudden drop in your energy levels. Then, similarly, you feel tired and lifeless if your thirst is not quenched. And so that's another example. And thirst can also cause dizziness and lightheadedness, syncope. And to avoid urination or fecal elimination on experiencing an urge leads to pain in the bladder, or one may develop flatus and other symptoms, respectively. All right. Hunger and thirst, the urge to discharge body waste, and other such urges develop naturally in the body. They are the natural urges of the body. These urges are felt by all conscious people. Timely satisfaction of these urges are paramount to good health. Interfering with the natural action of the urges provokes vata, and thereby postponing or ignoring them can lead to various kinds of ailments. Alright, so like I said, the vata dosha, or the gas humor, is really interfered with when you don't follow these urges. So there are 13 urges And there's two schools of thought on what these urges are, but they are as follows. And the two schools of thought are pretty similar, only is number 12, the urge for rapid breathing or hyper breathing. Balkrishna considers that as the same as the urge for coughing, because you're stopping your breathing. That's also included in these 13. So the urge for urination, the urge for defecation, and origin in the other school also there's 13. They just consider these two urges the same. So urination, defecation is one urge in that thought, whereas cough is another urge. And then seminal ejaculation is the third urge. Passing flatus is the fourth urge. The fifth urge is emesis or vomiting. The sixth one is sneezing. Then is belching, also known as eructation. Then is yawning, hunger, thirst, tears or weeping, rapid breathing or hyperventilate breathing or coughing, and the urge for sleep. And then he talks about the two schools of thought right here. Alright, usually for the sake of good conduct, manners, and etiquette, some urges are suppressed forcefully. Among these urges, sneezing and flatus in gathering or public places, and flatus means farts, in gathering or public places are commonly suppressed. Such tendency of suppression is common in women's society. So this is India, where there is a separate women and men's society. It is clearly specified in Ayurvedic treatises that when such natural urges develop, allow them to occur. Suppressing the urge to expel flatus, fecal elimination, and urination develops a serious disease named Udavarta, circulation of flatus in the upward direction in the abdomen. Also, other diseases occur due to the inhibition of these non-suppressible urges. So recently I made a video, I think it was where I was in my car talking about the view, being on Mount Baldy Road, and I was talking about the upward moving gas. I think I was just meditating on this disease that I have, which is Udavarta, or I was really feeling the symptoms of then, which is the upward movement of the gas in the body, and that causes a lot of diseases, even insanity and psychosis. Anyhow, so first they talk about suppression of the urge to cough. When a person suppresses the urge to cough forcefully, it not only causes an increase in cough, but also results in hyperbreathing, anorexia, and cardiac diseases. The chances of tuberculosis, emaciation, and hiccups may also develop. For this, anti-cough treatment is required. Alright, so it can cause all these conditions. And this is the treatment for these conditions that it can cause. Then they talk more generally, incurable symptoms of urge suppression. So if you suppress these 13 urges repeatedly, you can have these three incurable conditions. And if a person is not benefited even by medication and the following symptoms are also invisible, then the person is said to be incurable, and the disease is said to be caused by suppression of the urges. So these